Hey monsters! What's up guys? And welcome to Facebook Live, to YouTube, and to Twitch as well. And we're also on air, so this is going to be a really fun Tuesday. Are you guys ready? Are
Oh,
you? Are you
I'm
though?
telling you, Karla, when it comes to representing the Philippines, other than, of course, Manny Pacquiao, who represents us for boxing, now in the rhyme slinging game and rapping game, she's been holding us down. Not just like, rapping in Tagalog. Yo, she could rap in Waray. She could rap culture, heritage, all wrapped into one. If your mama loves some lumpia, she is our lumpia in hip hop. Did that make sense? I hope it
No,
does.
not at all. What,
When it comes
Rico?
It's just the messages that she puts out because I was checking out some of her work. Oh my goodness, especially with the Balikbayans. Joining us from San Francisco, give it up for the one and only Ruby Ibarra.
Hi guys.
Hey
Thank you for having
Ruby!
me.
I'm so
What's up?
sorry. I'm so sorry that he called you a lumpia. But anyway,
Delicious. Oh my
That
goodness.
was a funny analogy. I like it. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it works.
she's just being polite. She's being polite. But Ruby, thank you for joining us all the way from San Francisco. Before anything else, how are you? I mean, second to the last month of the year. How insane is that, right? Like we're on month 11. How have you
Yeah,
been, girl? How's life?
I can't believe it. So for us here in the US, we're about 8 months into, I call it like this is the new world ever since the quarantine happened and with this pandemic. But I've just been trying to get through it every day. I think like everybody else, this year has been nothing like we've ever experienced. And so, I think at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is really count my blessings and appreciate the moment to kind of slow down and build the time, with the people that I care about around me, my community, my family, my friends, and just making sure I'm more present. I think that's what I've learned the most about this year.
Mm.
I mean, seeing all your interviews as well, you're always vocal when it comes to the movement that is happening there now. Carla and I were discussing earlier about you becoming one of the people that are looking for the cure for COVID-19. Okay, so how
Yeah.
did that come about?
So Rico, unfortunately, I don't have the cure to offer you both today. But I'm part of a biotech company. So back when I was in school growing up, I was such a big nerd. Aside from music, my other passion really came with in science. I was just a very curious kid. I was always wondering how things worked, why things were the way they are. And
Mm.
so when I went to school and I majored in biochemistry and molecular biology, naturally, from there I of course end up working at a lab. And so that's what I do now when I'm not doing music. I still work full time. And what we're doing, or what we've been focusing on this year, is first the COVID-19 test kits. And we've kind of transitioned our focus to working on helping towards the vaccine. I know everybody around the world is waiting for it. And I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the news, but there are companies out there now. I think there are two in the lead
Yep.
that have I think 90% or 95%, or as they claim, efficacy. But I think we're in a good pace. I tell people all the time. Naturally, things like vaccines, they take multiple years
Mm.
to perfect and to test. And obviously with this pandemic affecting the entire world, everybody's kind of in a race right now to put one out, and everybody's patiently waiting. So I think probably I would say the next 6 months, hopefully it'll be, I think, publicly available to everybody. But I just want to remind everyone that's tuned in, like, let's all do our part in the meantime, like really social distance and wear our masks.
That's so true, Ruby, because even, with that light at the end of the tunnel, it's still important to not lax in safety measures and just being socially responsible in terms of keeping our distance and washing your hands and all that. But I'm sorry, we just have to go back. Molecular biology and
Right?
all these big
It's
words
a
that I
mouthful.
I I am just I can't even process. First of all, Ruby, how can you even, because when people hear, oh, rapper, oh, femc, oh, she's like this tough girl who, like, just goes out in the streets and does all these battles and stuff. But girl, you are so freaking smart. And I mean, where did your passion for music come about? Was it since you were a kid? Because I'm just trying to connect both the musical side and this like science intelligent side. Like, did they come at the same time growing up? How did that exactly work, especially when you started off as a kid? When did you realize you loved music? When did you realize you loved science? And how did you make them, jive together?
That's a very good question. And honestly, I think whenever people find out that I'm still working full time, just the fact that I'm in the sciences as well, I think always kind of mind blows people.
Yeah.
I think it's not necessarily what people expect, especially when they hear, I think, the type of music that I make, which is a little bit more outspoken and like Rico said, a little bit more vocal about certain issues. But I think, or I hope that what I do in both spheres can help serve as a reminder to everybody that you don't need to be one certain way, one or a specific mold. I think it's everybody naturally has different interests. Like we all might have an interest with a certain group of friends, but when we go home, we'll watch something else that we might not be able to enjoy with certain people. And I think that's okay. I want to remind people that it's okay to have your geeky side as much as you enjoy other things. And for me, I think how I was able to drive both things together is that I was just very passionate about both. And to go back in your first question, with music, I fell in love with it when I first heard Francis M. So before my family moved to the U.S., we were still living in Tacloban City, and I was introduced to Francis M's music as a little kid. And I remember hearing Mga Kababayan for the first time, and that to me was just like the moment I fell in love with hip hop. I said, wow, how can someone use their voice as an instrument? And from there, I just started to discover other artists like Lauryn Hill, Tupac, Wu-Tang Clan. And, these are all artists I grew up listening to. And mainly the reason why I wanted to become an MC myself.
That's incredible.
See that, Karla? The
Wow.
even the people that she listens to, you know what I mean? It's like straight
Yeah.
up deep hip hop. It's what hip hop is all about. Now connecting the biology, Karla, and their hip hop is E equals MC squared.
Oh yeah, the MC is in the equation. So
You're so corny, Rico. But I really love what you said, Ruby. And I feel like that will resonate with a lot of people, especially now that you don't have to be just one thing. And you don't have to limit yourself and keep yourself in that box. You can have 100 different passions and be great at all of them, and that's okay. It's okay to be geeky. It's okay to like music in a certain way, and I think that's really great. That's why Ian says here that she feels so empowered whenever she hears your songs because it resonates with her as well. Now, when it comes to making music, Ruby, I mean, is that something that you take into consideration when you write? Do you want it to be purposeful? Do you want it to be about a certain topic that you feel like will touch other people's lives? Or do you just go with the flow and whatever inspires you? Because you do have a very powerful voice and a powerful way of getting your messages across, right? So I just want to know, like, in terms of your songwriting, in terms of when you write your music, is that what you consider in the forefront? Like, it has to be impactful?
in terms of my songwriting, I definitely place heavy importance on having a message. As a writer, there's always two missions for me. I think either going one route is to have a song where people can identify with it or feel inspired or feel empowered. That's always one of my primary goals as a writer, is to basically evoke emotion. Because like I mentioned earlier, the artists that I grew up listening to, like Pac and Lauryn Hill, they did that exact same thing for me. For example, when I heard Miseducation of Lauryn Hill for the first time, that was pretty much where I felt seen as a woman of color living in the US, where I felt like this is someone whose story I feel like I can relate to, and made me feel like I could navigate the different experiences that I was going through as a young woman. And so I try to capture that same type of feeling or emotion in the type of songs that I write. And when I'm not doing that, the second route that I try to go with writing is exploring or trying to be creative lyrically, and definitely, trying to explore where lyricism can go. Like Rico mentioned earlier, the type of music that I grew up listening to were really like underground, raw, boom bap hip hop. And that is, what a lot of people consider to be the golden era of hip hop, the 90s type of music. And, these were MCs like, for example, I'll take it back a little bit further, like Rakim, who pushed and changed what lyricism meant when it came to hip hop. So I'm also very inspired by, writers like Big Pun or Eminem, who challenge the way rhyme can sound or can be appreciated and really bend words. And that's what I try to do too when I go for the more lyrical stuff.
When it comes to syllable juggling, she got you covered. Well, Karla, for those that are tuned in on air, we do have Ruby Ibarra all the way from San Francisco. Now we're gonna play No 3-2 on air, but online, she gonna be performing something for us. Am I right, Ruby?
I will. So tune in online as well.
Tune in. Here we go. So 3-2. The features Ruby Ibarra is the Dean on the Monster. All right. Here we go.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited, Rico. Okay, Ruby.
Tell us about this. What are you going to be performing for us, Ruby?
So the first one that I'll be performing is titled Here. And it's one of the opening tracks of my previous album called Circa 91. And when I was writing this one, it was pretty much a proclamation of just like the title is called Here. It's basically saying, I'm here. I'm taking up my space. I'm owning my own voice. I'm owning my own story and just being comfortable in who I am. And so, this track is called Here.
All right, here we go. We have Ruby Ibarra here on the Monster.
No need for introduction, you hear and you know why. Nose dive into an era where the beats are lo-fi. Put my face in the book as my people are profiled. Erased from the books and my people are told lies. Sky's the limit, go fly. Cali Green we go high. I mean back in '05, but in you I grow wise. Surprise we grow thighs, double dose of broke lies. We dove in those sides of losing, hope it goes by. I got Bam to my left and Erica right. Here to giving you America like Erica right. Try to take my title, never will to inherit the rights. That club in city's finest. Put me on the 5 list. Color up the lines, cause I color like your iris. Hunger in my eyes, this is everything that I risk. Kill it with my tongue, every time I spit a free. But the work is never done, and believe I'll never leave, cause I'm here. So get your hands in the air, cause now the greatest is here. And I'ma make this my year, cause I'm finally here. Yeah, I'm finally here. Hey, yeah, I'm finally here. Yeah, I'm finally here. You call yourself a rapper, talk less and take notes. We slay sheep, respect, go see praise, deep and next toe. Dick beats the flex, throw finesse, these to bless those. Say free, say test, hope you say peace, but stay woke. Leave you cast face. To the point I catch praise, rhymes from the catchphrase till it starts a cascade. Product of Mac, Dre, Wu-Tang, and Andre. Break beats on beat tapes to break, next we press play. They say we from the slums where the heroes never won. My people love with tongue, brown faces of the sun. Skill the Satan with my tongue. After spinning from the stations, I'm rotating around the sun. The access, my mattress, I pass out and pass this. Abstract the masses, last half no practice. Back to back raps, Manila Noir, bar for bar. Homie, check the repertoire, bar with the bars, it's subpar. Well, I set the bar, cause I'm finally here. Hey, so get your hands in the air. Yeah, cause now the greatest is here. Yeah, and I'ma make this my year. Hey, cause I'm finally here. Yeah, I'm finally here. Yeah, I'm finally here. Yeah, I'm finally here on Monster RX93.1. Hey.
Oh my gosh.
Boy,
Wait
a
a
boy, as
minute.
they say.
Oh my gosh. Ruby, what? Duh. Oh, you are so incredible. My God, that was so good. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Like in the middle of your rap, I texted Rico, oh my God, she is so good. I mean,
Not just the sake of rhyming.
Can I just ask this, please? Because I feel like this is something that noobs like me would ask. When you write your raps, Ruby, I mean, how does it go? Do you write it and then like the tune is in your head, or do you like do different versions of it until you're like, okay, that one clicks? Because we've heard from bands and artists like, oh, it's a songwriting process and all that stuff. How does it work in terms of rap like this? I mean, how is your rap writing process like?
I wish I had one specific answer, but you might not be happy with this answer, but because it varies with every song. I know that, you know, that's kind of a cliche answer, but it's the truth. It depends on, I think, the type of beat, and it depends on the type of topic. I mean, there's been instances where I wrote a song in 20 minutes because I was so you know, heavily thinking about that before I sat down and wrote it. So I already knew what I wanted to pour out. I already knew what kind of emotion I wanted to approach with the lyrics, or I knew what kind of words I wanted to use to describe what I was feeling. And at other times, there's been songs where it's taken me a span of 6 months where I would write one line and then revisit it another day and write another line. So ultimately, it all depends. But the best answer that I can give you today is that I typically write to an instrumental. I need to have the beat first in order to write the song, because I like to cater it to the melody of the beat as well.
Oh my gosh.
And you can see her, you know, for those who missed out on her performance online, of course, on our Facebook page as well. She just, you know, she just a cappella a whole track. And Karla and I are just trying to gasp for air here, as you know. But you could see the writing style as well. You know, one thing that I want, since Karla asked the writing style, you know, the new school of rap, what they do is they usually just mumble and they write lyrics over it. And what makes your style so nice and unique is there was no mumble in there. That was clarity.
No.
There's a whole lot of cerebral stuff in there with some, man, I'm just saying, yo, big ups.
And not just that, it's your style, Ruby. You're so, like, the conviction and the power that you have with every word. That's what I was so enthralled by, was how when you were rapping it, you meant every word, and I felt like you did. I mean, when you perform, I mean, obviously not now because of course we're all doing digital stuff, but especially like in front of crowds and stuff. Were there ever points where you would be performing and you would just like break down, or like you'd start crying or feeling the emotion a little bit more than normal? Because I would like to think, especially, you know, coming from a place of, you know, you're a woman of color, you're a woman of color living in the States. You know, I mean, these are all different things that hit people hard. Were there ever any times when you would perform that you'd be like, you tell the crowd, wait, like, I need to breathe? Can you talk to us about some of those experiences?
Yeah, that's such a great question, Karla. And I honestly wish that I would be able, or that I was able to talk about this more, because there has been a handful of times that's happened to me. And one experience that always sticks out in my mind is last year, me and my band, the Balikbayans, we performed in the Philippines for the first time together. So March of 2019, all 8 of us traveled from San Francisco to Manila to perform specifically for the Malasingo Festival in Puerto Galera. And I remember before even getting on stage, I was very anxious. I mean, I usually get, you know, a little bit of stage fright, but that's just, you know, because I can't wait to get on stage. But this was a different kind of feeling of fear, I think, because it was, I knew it would be a different experience taking the music that I make back home, especially because I talk about immigration a lot in the last record. And I didn't know how the crowd would receive it, especially in the Philippines, if they could relate to it, because I know that my experience as a Filipino American is sometimes going to be very different from somebody's experience that grew up in the Philippines. And so once we got on stage, I remember before I even started playing the first song, you know, the very first front row, or the front row of the audience, it was all Filipinas. And they started chanting one of my songs already, called Us, and they were going, Island Women Rise, walang makapatigil. And I remember just was like, first of all, I was very surprised that they even knew the lyrics, but I was kind of my heart felt very full in knowing that, you know, these were people that were from the Philippines and they felt passionately about the song. And as we went through that particular show, once we got to my other song called Welcome, there's a certain lyrics in that song where I go, welcome to the Philippines, mabuhay, where we keep Americana dreams and new life. And I remember at that moment when I was performing that song, I didn't even see the audience anymore. And I didn't see my bandmates that were on stage with me. All I saw were the stage lights. And I remember it was a very out of body experience, and it felt very real. And I remember asking or thinking to myself, am I really here in the Philippines right now performing my music? Like, this is such a crazy opportunity to be able to even bring my music back home. Because it's a different experience, and it felt like a true homecoming to be able to be with my band, be in the Philippines at the same time, and to sing these lyrics that that were very true to my own experiences and my family's experiences of having felt distant from the Philippines, and to bring it back, it was just so special and it's so surreal. And I think I turned to my left, and the guitar player in my band, she was crying, like tears were falling down her face. I turned around, and my drummer, he had the biggest smile on his face, and it was just such a great experience.
It was a true
Oh,
of happiness right there we've come to witness. Now, with that glorious story, can you tell us a story of trying to make it in the US first as an MC?
yeah.
It started, was it like in the fifth grade, sixth grade? You're like, oh, hey, crap. All right, I'm going to join this. How did that go?
I started thinking, I think the idea of wanting to be an MC again came from me listening to people like Lauryn Hill and thinking that I want to do that someday. I want to be exactly like her. I want to be able to create music that that will make people feel like they're either changing the way they think, or it evokes an emotion or strikes a chord, somewhere in their experiences that in their life. And so when it came to me finally writing my first full song, I have to admit it was horrible. Of course, my very first song, I can't even remember what it was about. But I recorded it, and I'm just very thankful that I was in a time when I started my career where social media was already available. Websites like SoundCloud were available for me to instantly just upload online, and YouTube is also already up and running at that time. And so I think I'm one of those artists who's definitely very grateful, and I think I owe my career to these social media platforms, because it's really taken the middleman out, where otherwise before you really need to have a hit on the radio to be able to get your name out there. And I think we're in such a special time now where artists like myself, who can deliver it immediately or directly rather to our audiences. And so I'm definitely very thankful for that.
We're gonna hear another one from you. We would like to hear another track to perform.
Demanding.
And Ruby, you're scheduled for one set, so 45 minutes yan. I'm just kidding. For those
What did I sign up for? Oh no.
We have Ruby Ibarra. She's joining us. She'll be performing now. So what's the song that you're gonna be, or the spoken word or a cappella you're gonna do for us?
So the second a cappella I'm going to do is also from my record called Circa 91. This song is called Playbills. And the theme of this track is basically talking about corruption and how, people that are at the top, that are rich, stay rich, and the people at the bottom stay poor. And this was kind of me just examining why that is, and why, the way money is filtered from the top to the bottom, and also how something like 1 peso is translated into dollars, and seeing how there is no equivalent transaction between the both. Like, the dollar will always be considered as something a lot better than the peso, and so I wanted to kind of challenge people's way of thinking around that. And so this track is called Playbills.
Here we go. Ruby Ibarra live.
We pay, they rob us. These snakes don't want us. Each day we all play this game that they taught us. In God that we trust, but they praying on us. If she ate, then we scrape, so we hate and both us. My mama's such a kitchen, no, I mean it's still from mechanic to McDonald's just to pay these bills. Trying to sell a soul just to make this deal, but the people in control are gonna hate me still. Trying to stay face, penis with the brown face, calling us a tongue whenever like how my name tastes. Made across the ocean, mother better make way. 7,000 months that want us in the first. These days was a pay rate for a briefcase. Time safe, that's a death rate, and it's prepaid. Free wage, minimum pay, and no leeway. While they throwing us bait just so we brown face was a melee in my heyday. But wait, but you melee in your grade weight, mayday. Play the game straight, or your meat fake, green face at the ink takes when the bleed. Watch me make it rain. People don't know that I'm paid though. Watch me make it rain. I made that dollar from a peso. Watch me make it rain. Watch me make it rain. rain. Hey, watch me make it rain. Watch me make it rain. I said now watch me make it rain. People never know my face, so watch me make it rain. I trade that dollar from a peso. Watch me make it rain. Watch me make it rain. Yup. Watch me make it rain. Watch me make it rain. Kung pwede launta ako makakuha hinparta para ako makaginhawa o bago batrato ha akong tunmabos sagpangang mestisa pat ako nitsura tutukita tatun panit basura paggamit ng lahinusag na pintura baganang pelikula at atong kultura pakitat politika puro na buwa oranhan yung landa gintago anpat na kinkuha baligya waray nakakita damon patay nga naluno na baka sekreto na may tinatago kontrata ay napakiana isara itbaba ikaunit bala kiran at bahala ayo kabaraka kung natitinawa hirain mo kanakuha nirat imo kwarta pura ako timbis, tumuno sila at nagkakainis. Paano kumita ng pera bitbit? Ang hirap ng buhay, tsaga at tiis. Palaging ipit, wala bang hustisya sa ating basta at lahat na lang puro peke. At ito grabe, marunong na ako gumante sa kurakot na negosyante at mata pobre. Make it rain. People don't know that I'm paid though. Watch me make it rain. I made that dollar from a peso. Watch me make it rain. Watch me make it rain. Yup. Watch me make it rain. Watch me make it rain. I said now watch me make it rain. People never know my face, so watch me make it rain. I trade that dollar from a peso.
Man,
Holy.
exchange rate.
Wait a
What's up?
minute. I can't. People like freaked Ruby. That was insane. That doesn't even begin to cover how incredible that was. Wow.
I need to be around the both of you more. You make me feel so special.
Are you kidding me, girl? You are special. This is some.
Dude.
Ian is right. This is some next level stuff. I mean, okay, I'm sorry. I just have to. Ruby, that was so powerful in every way, shape, or form. And I think we can all agree it hits people where it needs to hit them. And it also shines light into certain aspects of life, whether it be in the States, in the Philippines, in any form of government. When you write and perform these tracks, Ruby, do you also get scared? Because like we were talking about earlier, when you write your raps, when you write your lyrics, you always want to make sure there's a message, there's a powerful statement when you write these things and when you perform them. But Ruby, this isn't gonna be okay for some people. It's gonna rub some people the wrong way. It's gonna stir up some reactions. As a human, I mean, do you get scared sometimes, like you're writing it and you realize how powerful and truthful it is, and then you think, oh man, I might get in trouble if I perform this? I mean, can you walk us through that? Because your courage for me is astounding in the way that you're just like, I am going to perform this and I don't care if it hits you the wrong way. I mean, is there ever any fear when you write these tracks?
That's a very good point. I think naturally, of course, just being a human being, we can never really escape those moments of fear, especially when you're an artist and you put yourself in such a vulnerable state, especially when these are your own experiences or things that you've heard your friends or your family members go through, whether it's them going through discrimination or certain injustices. But for me, I think what's comforting for me to know and to understand and to come into terms with is understanding that as an artist, I have to recognize that I do have a platform. And it would be very remiss of me if I didn't utilize that platform in a responsible way that I should. I mean, ultimately, I don't think that I'm talking about anything that or I don't talk about anything that I'm not knowledgeable about. Of course, the things that I address in my songs, the topics and the themes, they're either firsthand experiences or things that I've had a lot of conversations with family or with friends, and a lot of studying about also, and making sure that I really know about that issue if I'm going to speak about it, because I never want to come off as ignorant when it comes to a certain topic. And again, I think I just have to always remind myself that if I have the courage to speak on a specific topic, what's comforting for me to know is that there's someone out there who is looking for someone to speak on that, who might feel like they don't have a voice, who might feel like they're not in a position to be able to speak on it. Because I understand that as an artist, I do have, you know, certain freedoms when it comes to, I think, exploring topics creatively. And of course, also being Filipino American, I also recognize that I have privileges that other Filipinos don't. I mean, I don't want to get, you know, too specific in certain topics, but especially this year in 2020, you know, as all of us know, whether it's in the US or in the Philippines, you know, there are some things that are now, you know, have been put into law or even into practice in our countries where, you know, certain people are afraid to speak on certain things because there are real repercussions to it. And I acknowledge that I think it's my duty and my responsibility as an artist, but also as a Filipino American to speak on those things.
I mean, I love the courage that you got. Where do you draw your strength from? Is it from family? Was it your mom or your dad or your grandparents that used to be, you know, soldiers, or, you know, what was it?
I definitely, I think I get my strength from people like my mom, just knowing that. So I was raised by in a single parent household. When we moved from the Philippines to the US, it was pretty much just me, my sister, and my mom growing up here in America, and seeing the kind of sacrifices that she had to make and the struggles that she went through, being a first generation Filipina and having to raise two kids on her own in a whole new different country where she didn't understand the language at first and she didn't really know, you know, how to get a job out here, and to see her make something of herself from nothing, and seeing and the lessons that I think she taught me and my sister growing up, to me also always serves as an inspiration, and she'll always be my hero. And I think people like her, people again, like the artists that I grew up listening to, hearing people like Lauryn Hill who are unfiltered and completely raw and honest and authentic with who they are, that also serves as an inspiration for me to continue being authentic and 100% honest in my music.
Now, for those tuning in, you know, if you are watching us online or on air, we have Ruby Ibarra. She's joining us from San Francisco. Now we're hearing the story and the roots of how she writes her music. Now, Ruby, your tracks are, you know, it's very awakening. But do you have any club tracks? Any fun club tracks? Let's go to the club. Let's go back some booty too. Do you have any of those?
I think I have to do a remix to Cardi B's WAP. I think that's what Rico is trying to hit.
Yeah, I think so.
Next time I'm on here, I'll get you a club track. But I think with my collaborations, I try to have more fun with it. For the people that are tuned in that are familiar with, you know, tracks like No 32 or the collab that I did with Inigo, Catching Feelings remix. Those are opportunities that I always am happy to take because I think, you know, when I'm making an album, I try to have one overarching theme to the entire record, where it's based. I always want it to be like a movie or a book, where from beginning to end, there's one storyline, and if you take out one song or one piece of that, you know, it'll feel incomplete. And so when it comes to collaborations, that's always an opportunity for me to rap in a way or to tackle on topics that I usually don't talk about. So I always try to have fun with the collabs.
Now, can you remember your first rap song that you've ever written?
I don't want to remember it. No.
I just want to know. I'm curious.
It's gonna give me nightmares tonight. No, it's probably just very embarrassing. It was probably talking about how dope I was, even though I wasn't dope, or I'm not. I wasn't dope back then. You know, the typical stuff. I think as artists, when we first start out, we're always heavily inspired by the people that we listen to. So I think the first set of raps that I started off with in my career were definitely influenced by the people that I grew up listening to, and probably sounded like, you know, their type of music. Like, what kind of track would Eminem make, or what kind of track would Lauryn Hill make? And you know, naturally after that, I think as writers, we eventually start recognizing and start realizing what our voice is inside all of that. And I'd like to think that, you know, I've moved away from trying to sound like other people and finally find my own style.
See, Rico, she's purposeful and intentional. Even in her like earlier track, she's like, this gonna be a learning experience for how different my tracks are gonna be later on in life. Okay, baby Ruby. I mean, since we're on the topic of collaborations, Ruby, who are some of your dream collaborations? Like, if you have a list of artists, whether international or local, like Filipino, who would you love to create tracks with that you feel like you guys could totally jive in terms of, these powerful messages, and also tracks that would be like fun and, just playful?
I would definitely love to collab with, speaking it into existence again, people like Kendrick Lamar and Lauryn Hill. Especially when it comes to Kendrick, who I think is, for me, the best MC that is out right now in our time. This generation's best MC. I think that he's just continuing to push hip hop forward and challenging what it means to be a lyricist and what it means to be a rapper. And I love how he's also very intentional with his music and making sure that he's not just out there just to rap about anything, but there's always a message or there's always a purpose to the type of projects that he makes. When it comes to the Philippine music scene, I would love to collaborate with Nadine again. I know we did No 3-2, but I'm crossing my fingers. I would love to have her on my next project. Other people that I'm a big fan of, Looney. Also, he's a hip hop MC there from in Manila. Shout out to Looney. I would love to collaborate with him. I'm also a very big fan of Four of Spades. I know that our styles are very different, but maybe we can make it work. Their music is amazing.
Well,
oh my God, I could so see her. Can you see it through Rico with Four of Spades? That would be sick.
Would you change your? Would you be dressing up like a doo-wop Lauryn Hill when y'all do the video? Right?
Yeah, I love their retro style, the looks that they have. I might just have to do that. I mean, if that collaboration ever happens, I'm down for anything.
Oh my God, Ruby, let's speak it into existence for you, because I feel like those would be some amazing tracks. Now, since we're on the topic of fun questions, aside from being intelligent, uberly talented, and the right kind of woke, because let's face it, there are so many woke from homes that are just so annoying. You're actually like the legit kind of woke from home, the one talking about issues and all that stuff. What do you like to do for fun, though, when you're not saving the world from COVID and writing these crazy raps? What do you like to do for fun? Like, do you get into your coziest like pajamas and binge watch something for like hours on end? Do you like to bake like the ultimate cookies that you will gorge on? Like, what do you like to do in your spare time for fun that brings you so much joy?
So I think I always tell people one of the silver linings of 2020 is, in quarantine, we've just had so much more free time. And
Yeah.
the last 2 years, ever since my debut album was released, I was constantly on tour. I saw myself nearly every week, or every week actually. I would travel to a different state, I would perform and continue to tour the album. And with this year, of course, with concerts just not being a possible thing right now, I've just been at home. And what I've been doing two things. The first thing that I found myself doing at the start of quarantine was, like everybody else, I was binge watching shows on Netflix. And I actually got into a lot of Korean dramas. Like, I watched Crash Landing.
Oh my God.
I even watched, there was a Korean zombie show on Netflix too that's really, really good. A lot of Korean stuff. I ate a lot of KBBQ. I think my favorite purchase this whole quarantine, other than the LED lights, is I have this smokeless grill at home, and I now eat KBBQ at least once a week. So it's there's no smell, there's no smoke, and I get to have as much short ribs as I can. So I've been binge watching, binge eating. And a new hobby now is also cooking during this time in the quarantine. I can proudly say that I make some really, really, really bomb salmon sinigang. I'm very proud of my salmon sinigang. It's just the right amount of sour. The salmon is so tender. So a lot of people don't know I'm actually also a very big foodie. Like, I love to eat food. I love to try new different restaurants. So aside from eating, I've also been learning how to cook this 2020.
She
See,
makes me feel this small, okay? She's
what?
working on vaccines slash treatments and cures for COVID. She's writing these incredible raps. She's cooking. She has time to binge watch and time to eat all of her favorite food. And I'm here like, I mean, how
You
many hours in a day you got, Ruby?
pwede, ano, Ruby, pwede ka magbenta sa home TV shopping. You're encouraging me to get a smokeless grill.
She's
I'm like,
so cute though, because Rico, it's so Filipino. Ruby, you are so Filipino. You may be living in the States, but your
Yes.
passion for K-drama and Korean barbecue, you've won my heart and the hearts of the monsters because
Have
that
you guys
is
been
so
watching
Filipino.
K-dramas as well?
I'm sorry. I can't watch K-dramas, but I watch the Korean zombie stuff. Train to Busan,
Or
the
Train
one
to
about the condo. I think it's called Escape or something. The latest one. So those are good. But I love that you're just so shameless. You're like, listen, Crash Landing on You. I was on that. I have my smokeless grill. I have my short ribs like every other day. I freaking love you,
that's
man. I
cool, man.
mean,
That's
oh,
cool.
I
But Ruby,
can't.
basta, yeah, I'm gonna do that for you. I'm gonna do that for you. You know, I got the finger out. But Ruby, a lot of Filipinos in San Francisco. How's the situation there for the Pinoys,
Yeah.
Bayans there? How's everybody there?
Everybody's doing fine. Again, the numbers here are really, really bad. I don't know how it is in the Philippines. I haven't read the latest updates, but California just reached its 1 millionth COVID case. I think just
Wow.
yesterday, and the numbers continue to rise. So it is very alarming, and it is scary to go out. But thankfully, I'm in a community where the people around here where I live are very mindful of taking precautions. And every time I step foot outside, everybody's wearing masks. People are following the rules for social distancing. But I just this is this I'm always left speechless when I'm talking about this year, because this is a new reality for everyone, and I don't know how long this is going to last.
Mhm.
I think what we need to remember is just again to just count our blessings and just remember that this isn't one person experiencing this on by themselves. Like, we're all in this together. We're all experiencing this at the same time, and I think our communities just need to continue, supporting each other. We need to continue. Again, following what the safety guidelines are, and hopefully we can go back to any sense of normalcy sometime soon. Crossing my fingers that we all have a better 2021.
And
Mm.
Ruby, what's there to look forward to for you for 2021? You know,
Yes.
a lot of new MPs as well, like Alex Bruce. You know, the way she spit and rhymes too. She's inspired by you, and we interviewed her. You know, what's something that we're gonna look forward to from you for 2021?
Shout out to Alex Bruce. I love her. She's amazing. For me, for 2021, I'll be releasing my second album. It's currently untitled, but I've been writing and recording throughout this year, and I'm trying to release it at least maybe by summer of next year, is what I'm hoping for or aiming for. And hopefully, as I was mentioning earlier, Rico, before we went on live, I recently released a docu-film. So when me and my band went to the Philippines last year, we documented the entire trip. We were out there for 5 days. So aside from Puerto Galera, we actually also got onto the Wish bus. We visited the Rappler offices, and we also performed at Sagio, which is in Makati. And it was just such an amazing experience. And we ended up documenting the entire trip and made a full-length documentary. And we premiered it here in San Francisco, actually last month, to a sold-out drive-in movie theater. And I'm hoping by next year that we can premiere it also in the Philippines, whether it's online screening or if there's any similar drive-in theaters. I would love to go back to the Philippines when it's safe, sometime soon. So I'll continue promoting that. Hopefully also enter some film festivals. So just doing a lot more creating, definitely.
Oh, we're
Oh my
excited.
God.
And more
I cannot
documentaries
wait.
come. And you want
I
to
cannot
watch
wait.
documentaries. So, Ruby, thank you very much for joining us. And you're going to take us out with one more. Is there room for one more performance?
I'll do one more. This one is featuring Rico and Karla.
Oh
Hey!
no. Yeah.
So
Check.
with this one, I kind of gave a preview on it earlier. This one is called Us. And when I wrote this song, what was important for me was to celebrate being a woman and to make sure that, you know, we remember the importance of sisterhood, and to empower all the Filipino sisters out there. So as I mentioned, this is featuring the both of you, and I'll need your help on this one. So the chorus goes, Alan woman rise, walang makakatigil. Brown, brown woman rise, alamin ng yung ugat. They got nothing on us. Then you guys say, hey, nothing on us. Hey, nothing on us. Hey, nothing on us. You guys got it?
Okay, so we can say A. We could totally say A,
Okay.
maybe.
Like the
Oh,
letter,
dear
the letter
God.
A.
All right, cool.
Hey.
Our
Okay.
first collaboration as partners. We are collaborating with Ruby Ibarra, ladies and gentlemen.
Rico, we're gonna ruin this track.
Exclusive.
Don't be nervous.
All right, here we go. Warming up. Are we gonna warm up? Hey, hey. All right, cool. All right, you ready?
Hey.
Not B,
Cool.
not B, just A.
All right, Ruby, go get it.
Your bumper story arc, if it don't involve no matriarch, some mothers work from the ground up, they craft an air like ATR with the butterfly sleeves like a Philippine yan. Pag nasalita, magabalat ay bala. Wag magtaka kung ako ay makatabulok na sistema ko, rako sa pera bagsak. But we put in our heart into darkness. They put in these pigs in the office. You thinking you're schooling, but you hella lost cause you best see the vast while I taught this. But look at my ate, she moving so cold. Can't hold a planet or her when she glow. Flick of the wrist with the ila, she hold. Panago sa ila, she dripping in gold. Island woman, rise, walang makatigil. Brown, brown woman, rise, alamin ng yung ugat. They got nothing on us.
Hey,
Hey.
Nothing on us.
hey,
Hey.
On us.
Hey.
Nothing on us. Island woman, rise, walang makakatigil. Brown, brown woman, rise, alamin ng yung ugat. They got nothing on us.
hey,
Hey.
Nothing on us.
hey,
Nothing on us.
hey.
Isang bagsak. Abaniko sa kamay, arisang mikropono sabay, ang tapang ko giyan ng inay, at halimaw nang sumasabay, mga baran nyo lahat sablay, mga rappers na puro pangkay, tinamaan ko lahat patay, kaya walang mag-iingay, I got that Filipino phenotype, kayo manghi mestizo white, but give me that moreno like, that Rufio Aquino type, my lolas they be speaking like, those Bali songs and bolo knife, I breathe the ether, Nino hype, two tongues are sharper with the mic, a Nino in my history like, from a Lamborghini to sweep in sight, need thief and sell one piece of night, just turn a Cino light, hacienda like Aquino right, vigilante type, they kill my titos left and right, when smoking mirrors for the night, island woman, rise, walang makakatigil, brown, brown woman, rise, alamin ng yung ugat, they got nothing on us,
Hey,
nothing on us, hey, nothing
Hey.
on us, hey, nothing on us, island woman, rise, walang makakatigil, brown, brown woman, rise, alamin ng yung ugat, they got nothing on us.
hey.
Hey.
There we
Ruby.
go. Give it up for Rico and Karla.
Ruby,
Oh,
I apologize for Rico and I ruining it, but oh my God, that track. I'm
Hi.
gonna listen to it after this show. I have to listen to it.
And
Thank you.
Ruby, thank you for taking time to join us. Thank you for pouring us your heart, sharing us your mind and your skills. You've inspired so many people and continue to inspire them. And may you hold it down there in San Francisco.
Yeah.
All right. And
Thank you so
anytime
much.
that you are here in Manila, the Monsters got your back. You know, you could perform here, be here in the studio.
Yeah.
We'll feed you all the Pinoy food you like and different types of lumpia, different type of pancit. We got you, man. We got you. We got you.
I definitely take that offer. I'll be when I'm there. I'll hit you guys up. Thank you so much.
Yes,
This was so
please.
fun.
All right,
Thank
ladies.
you, Ruby.
Ruby Ibarra. There you go.
Oh my God, I love her. I wanna shrink her, have her mailed to the Philippines, and just keep her right here. Right here. Right here in this little spot right here, Rico. Oh my God. Talk about the perfect way to get yourself woke. Monsters, to the monsters watching and to the monsters listening. I was telling Rico this. She is what you call a real woke. A woke from home, a woke person. Somebody who makes sense and makes a stand in the right direction towards the right things. You know, it's not about being mema. It's not about talking about absolutely nothing and everything in particular. She has her message, she has her drive, and my gosh, if you were not inspired or convicted by the words that she spewed earlier, I don't know anymore. Like,
I mean,
Speechless.
discovering it as a potential, which is a spark, she fired it and she flamed it, and it became a blaze. Ruby Ibarra, man, just setting it. She's making paving waves for like acts like Alex Bruce, who's inspired by Ruby
Yeah,
Ibarra. So can you just
exactly.
imagine the school of hip hop that she's bringing in? But it all starts with conviction. You know what I mean? When she started rapping, she's like, "I'm gonna stand by this. Whoever comes my way, be it. But I'm gonna just throw it." And then doing the right research,
Yep.
and as you were saying, and it's a woman of substance. So big stuff, man.
Yep.
So thank you very much, Ruby Bar. Thank you guys for watching. We hope you guys are entertained. We hope you guys are woke because that
We
was
are.
an awesome
You know
episode.
what I learned as well from today's episode, Rico? We are the worst Ayers.
Di ba? Kasi internet connection problem sa
We are
Pilipinas.
so bad.
Di ba? She was A. We're like, oh, hey.
You started nga earlier. I saw you. You were like,
But wow, what a show. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, on Facebook Live and those tuning in, she is Karla Aguas.
it's Rico Robles live. Hey.
Hey, Ruby